impacted the field of management over the past 80 years, and by Business Week as one of the most influential practitioners in the history of leadership development. Marshall was recognized as the #1 leadership thinker in the world, and one of the top 5 most influential business thinkers in the world, as well as the #1 executive coach at the 2015 Biennial Thinkers 50 ceremony in London. Preface. Leadership across the world is in crisis, and, while fixing it won't be easy, I think there are ways to stop the rot and achieve much better leadership results. And while I can't possibly change the world single-handedly, I choose to connect to this cause intellectually and emotionally because it allows me to contribute and be part of the human race. Harrison Owen created Open Space Technology, OST, which is a deceptively simple and productive purpose-driven leadership approach in which groups of up to 1,000 people organize themselves to deal with complex issues in a very short time. In the preface to his 1999 book, The Spirit of Leadership, Liberating the Leaders in Each of Us, he writes that leadership, along with everything else in our lives, has become, or must become, something quite different from what it has been. This statement embodies the constantly evolving nature, understanding, and practice of leadership. It is no surprise, then, that leadership remains a much debated topic and a universally undefined phenomenon. It's not only an art and a science, it also has a touch of mystery, just like life itself, and it is critical to businesses, organizations, and communities, and to the evolution and survival of our species. Leadership is a determinant of our future, and I cannot imagine anything more exciting, meaningful, and rewarding than helping shape the destiny of humankind. This book is my humble contribution. Sebastian Salicru, Sydney, Australia, March 2017. Introduction. I have had the privilege of working all over the world with people at all organizational levels and from many socio-economic and cultural backgrounds throughout my career as a business psychologist specializing in leadership and organizational development. The most valuable thing my 25 years' experience has taught me is that relationships and integrity used in coordinated collective action have a unique power to achieve the extraordinary. My first full-time job as a psychologist was with a large international management consulting firm. One of the questions I was asked during the interview process was whether I had a current passport. As soon as I accepted the job offer, I was sent on my first assignment overseas. It was a 7-hour flight from Perth, where I lived at the time, to Auckland in New Zealand. Needless to say, it felt exciting and glamorous. But things changed dramatically after just 9 months, and disappointment set in. This wasn't a function of having to travel week after week across time zones. It was the actual work. I realized I was being asked to do the opposite of what I believed in. The promises to clients of increased productivity, cost savings, and enhanced profitability came mostly from slashing a significant percentage of their workforce, although it was debatable whether this was good for the company in the long run. The worst part of the job was that we said to the client before the project started that we didn't know where the savings would come from, as this would be determined through our audits and calculations. But in fact, we knew very well that we would recommend massive cuts to the workforce. I wish I could say that once I realized the job wasn't for me, I quit and moved on. Perhaps the best decision with the benefit of hindsight, who knows? Instead, I decided to stay, in the hope that things would change. But they didn't, and eventually I was fired. It became obvious to my employer that I wasn't cut out for the job. For me, this became a lesson in the importance of being true to yourself, and in sometimes having to do things you don't like, but which need to be done.